Shout out Big Steve.
What's up? Big Brain MMA Pod, episode 119. Welcome back. Thanks for listening. Like always, we're going to try and make some money on MMA this week. This week it's UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Royval 2, and a whole heap of regionals. Quite a crazy week of regionals. I don't think it's been like this. We had some crazy weeks last year, but never like this. Cage Warriors, PFL, UFC, ACA, A1 Combat, Fury. It's just nuts. It's nuts. Yeah, that was the reason I wasn't going to do a podcast because I wanted to make some money back. But yeah, why not do a quick one? We'll get into it. So let's not waste too much time. Let's go straight into the review of last week. So last week we didn't make much money. In fact, we lost. So I started off with Tobias Lee on KSW. That was my only KSW bet. It was a rough card. It was a bunch of pick'em, with unproven fighters, fragile fighters, and massive favorites that are not trustworthy. Tobias Lee, I played him $1.74. He was meant to be a much better striker, much better fighter. He ended up getting knocked out by Joniak, who's harmless. He just rushed him in the first 30 seconds, dropped him, and then the ref kind of crowded him as he was throwing ground and pound and separated him. So I felt like that was a super weird variance result, and I didn't really mind. Sometimes you're gonna win those, sometimes you're gonna lose those. It didn't bother me. Didn't bother me a bit. Shit happens. Mr. X, Tobias Lee felt like a bit of bad variance. Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, I'm not really fussed about bad variance stuff because if I'm fussed about that, there's bad variance every card. You'll pull your hair out. And then we move on to the pay-per-view. It started off well. I contemplated Andrea Lee all week and I passed. So I felt happy about that because I would have been extremely angry watching that result. Had liked the over, the Obama Elliott Woodburn. I passed because of the welterweight questions and cardio on Woodburn. That was I think that was an accurate plus money over that hit. So no regret there. Danny Barlow, I taped this fight like 3 times to get a proper read. And in the end, I liked the over, but I didn't play it. I'm not sure why. I think too much going on. Then I started to get a little bit annoyed because I really liked that over, especially when it came in. This is when things started going south. So Zhang, Ribeiro, I was going to play the round 1. And then my friend played a lot in round 1. And because it was minus 200, I just felt like parlaying it with something. And I parlayed it with Rinya Nakamura under, which is an under that I passed on at the start. And, I felt like maybe I should have picked something else because I could see what happened in that fight. And then as soon as I watched round 1, I'm like, this is not cashing. And then the tilt started happening, watching Rinya just sit in his guard for 3 rounds. And then Ad Vera's shoulder getting hurt. And I'm like, yeah, I've lost fights to people, to fighters getting their shoulder hurt. And then this guy got hurt his shoulder and he just doesn't get finished. So yeah, that was tilting. Lost $600 there. I wasn't going to touch the Mackenzie Dern Lemos fight, and then Dern went to plus 140, $2.40. I thought it was a pick'em. She had favorite upside. She was losing round 1 up until she got the easy takedown. Thank you very much. And then I thought 50-50. I get the damage thing, but I thought maybe a lot of top time, and I've lost money on dudes that do all the damage and then they get top time for most of the round. So I thought we probably had round 1. Round 2, obviously lucky not to get knocked out, and then round 3 cleared Dern. So yeah, a bit unlucky, but that's still at plus 140. I think there was a bit of value there. Then we had Roman Kopylov. So now I'm down, even though I was kind of trying to make bets before my 2 underdog plays, Roman Kopylov and Jeff Neal. So I wouldn't be down if they both lose, but instead I'm down like over $1,000 because Mackenzie Dern lost, and my stupid parlay with the Zhang under lost as well, which kind of made me a bit tilted now. And the Kopylov fight went exactly as I planned. 1 round 1 clear, hurt him with the first body kick, stuffed every single takedown. The plan was to live bet Fluffy, a better odds, a plus money. I was going to play Fluffy 2 takedowns, $1.66, which is better than his money line. I was going to play the inside the distance, And I don't know, I think because I was tilted and I was at my friend's house, I just wanted maximum profit. I didn't want to hedge at all. So I just let it ride. I looked great. It looked like Coppola wasn't really slowing down. Round two started, and I'm like, this is fine. I think there's a KO coming here. And yeah, it just went exactly as thought. Round two, sub Hernandez, and I didn't hedge at all. So now I was just upset at myself. Then Jeff Neal started. I had Jeff Neal and no scorecards. Then I had to watch Jeff Neal throw away a completely winnable fight at $3. The left hand was there. Every time he threw it, Gary completely hated it. So there was value there, and it is what it is. I mean, even if you don't agree that, even if you agree with the other two judges that gave Gary the 30-27, it doesn't change the fact that was extremely winnable for Neal, and he just did one of his performances where he just has the high guard and just stares. But yeah, almost won still. And then at this point, the tilt is seeping in, and I wanted to make my money back. So after Paulo Costa landed that spinning wheel kick, I thought he looked good. Cardio looks fine. It's going to be a competitive fight, and he just won round one. So I put a full unit, 1,500, on Costa at $2.50 plus 150. And yeah, I just watched him lose rounds 2 and 3 by slimmest of margins. So yep, 4,500 down there, 5.5 altogether. Somehow I'm still in profit for February, but yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed. Clearly I'm still making the same mistakes as last year. Emotional mistakes, and I don't know, just completely. I had things to cover, a couple of live bet and stuff, but when I'm in the spur of the moment, I just decide to let it ride and things like that. So this happen. I'm somehow still in profit by 500 for February. So hopefully, and good end this week, and yeah, profit is all that matters. Just take the mistakes as they come, and just be grateful that I can profit 50, 60, 70,000 per year, and enjoy this for what it is. Yeah, I did get a little bit of haters on Twitter for the first time in 2 years ever. Yeah, it's predictable. That's a horrible, crappy app full of losers. But I expected it to happen sooner. I think it's because I was having a little bit of fun with some cappers that take themselves way too seriously, even though their profit and staking is an absolute joke. So yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to give it and take it. We'll see if those people will be here this week when all the favorites, or 11 out of 12 favorites, don't cash, so they can't show me their full game parlays for $5. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe. I'll go through the comments. Daniel Mofo, how are you, sir? Thanks for listening. Aramias Son back. Let's go, son. I don't think I've seen you here before. What's up, Subhuman? Seems a lot like a lot of else took the L. Rinya failing to finish. Pretty annoying, that one. Yeah, I avoided it for a reason. Yeah, stupid parlay. Hello, Dad. I parlayed every favor on this card. Let's go. Let's do it. So first fight, Mohamed Naimov, Eric Silva. Pass fight all around. It's a dog or pass at this price. And yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Naimov is not really worth this price. He's been underrated in his first two fights, and then now, he's getting completely overrated because he beat Wood in a competitive matchup where he had the size and durability advantage. Yeah, if Eric Silva wasn't, losing the fight to TJ Brown in almost every single aspect, I might have taken a poke. And I know a lot of sharps taken a poke, so it's understandable. But yeah, no, I mean, he lost round one clear. Got a takedown over, got hurt. Got a takedown over TJ Brown in the second, but then got reversed and couldn't get up. And then round three got taken down and submitted. And I mean, TJ Brown is someone that's known for his fights being back and forth, right? He always loses position, and he was just able to shut Eric down. The guy's 36. His wins are all awful. Lux, one of the worst promotions for talent. So yeah, no interest in this fight. I can see Naimov winning a minus EV decision. Victor Altamirano, Felipe dos Santos, same way. I know some people playing Victor Altamirano, and I get it. I got excited to tape because I know Felipe dos Santos from his regionals is very scrappy. He's shooter box guy, so it means he gets hit, he gets taken down, but he just keeps coming. And I put the tape on, and I watch his regionals because I watched the Manual Cup fight a few times now. And the regionals are just, yeah, he's going to split and competitive decisions with these dudes, but it's like he's still the eye test. Still makes me impressed. He's got a lot better boxing. He's sharper. He's more athletic. Altamirano, you put his tape on, and it's just just a bunch of kicks, hands low. He's not athletic at all. He's weak. The Vincio Salvador fight. That was a competitive fight, 29-28, and Salvador was meant to be the one to gas, but he was pressuring him and stuffing his takedowns in the third, and Altamirano just fights like a weasel, and yeah, he's hittable as well. I think the boxing disparity is big here. The accuracy, the power. I think he's bottom of the barrel. I think his split decision to Carlos Hernandez is a bit deceiving. Some people rate Carlos Hernandez, and I do too. But Carlos Hernandez is similar. Not much athleticism, not much power. So they kind of it's a good matchup for a close fight. But yeah, I think Felipe dos Santos again probably just squeezes it out. Not that I'm advocating a play on him. It's a dog or pass again. But yeah, in Mexico and all that rubbish, who knows? I'd rather just live bet Altamirano, see how some of these fighters handle the altitude and whatnot. It's a tricky card. Luis Lazyboy Rodriguez, Denise Bonda. I actually bet on Luis Rodriguez's first fight in Contender Series, and I remember people saying he got robbed. Rewatched it again. I mean, I don't have a strong take on the robbery, but yeah, I wondered where he was because there was some hype on him after losing that, and that was a while ago, one of the early seasons. And watching him now, he's 4 years later. I don't think he's that good personally. Yeah, again, another Lux Series fighter guy. Awful level of competition. He's fighting close. He's getting hit. He's getting taken down. He's going for guillotines. His nickname is perfect. Just his whole style is a bit lazy. Yeah, I just wasn't really impressed, man. Wasn't really impressed. And he just kind of needs big moments. If anything, I think his grappling is the better path. He only solidifies rounds when he takes people down and sits on them and then acquires some minutes of top time. Denise Bonda, everyone likes to call this guy a fraud, but I thought he looked decent against Carlos Hernandez. I played Carlos Hernandez there, and I wasn't really relaxed up until round 3. I thought it was competitive fight throughout. So if anything, yeah, Bonda looks more athletic, more explosive, seems to have more volume, better wrestling, but it's a guy that I can't get a good read on either. He kind of got hurt by Malcolm Gordon and broke his arm, and that's obviously not to go off much. But I don't know, man. It's Dennis Bonda or a pass, especially if he's hanging around dog odds. I don't know what Luis Rodriguez's path here is, but I still have a feeling like maybe he can hurt Bonda, maybe he can get a meme guillotine. This whole fight screams mean to me, so yeah, pass again. Luis Rodriguez, super low volume. Could see Bonda getting the win via activity, of course. I contemplated some, submission on Luis. He likes the guillotine, but I don't know. Feels like a donation, personally. Claudio Puelles, Ferrezium. Ferrezium is minus 200 here. I get it, Puelles pulled the stunt against Dan Hooker in the last one. I think the whole world was on Dan Hooker at that line. I was as well. I was a little bit nervous, just because how washed Dan Hooker is, and as we saw, he kind of got close to an Eba. Luckily, Dan Hooker is a vet, but yeah, he'll go for it. He maximizes his path. I've been trying to fade this guy. I tried to fade him with Chris Grutzmacher, who was completely washed and training out of his garage, and it was still 1-1, and he was winning round 3 to Laniba. Ferraz, he looks improved every single fight. Really sharp striker, nice jab. Completely shut down Michael Figlak. He's usually a decision machine, but he almost finished Figlak in that fight. And then you watch his second fight with Jai Herbert. A lot of people played him there. I passed personally. And, he's going back to having close fights again. Jai was just staring at him. He used a bit of clinching to solidify the fight, but he couldn't even hurt Jai, who's extremely chinny. I think the height, Jai being as tall as him kind of took away his height, so it made him a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, I don't think Ziam is someone that you can play at -200 ever really in the UFC fight. And he also slows down routinely in round 3. Figlac started to take him down round 3 easily, same as Herbert, um, same as Malaki. But yeah, he does have that tall man takedown defense where it's quite hard. Once you get on his hips, it's quite hard to put him down. He's wiry. So I don't know what to expect from Pules, man. Pules also dies. He also slows down quite a lot. He took a year off. Maybe someone can tell me more than a year off, actually, almost a year and a half. Maybe someone can tell me why he took a year and a half off. If it was because he was embarrassed by the Dan Hooker performance to take some time off and improve, then that's a good sign. Hopefully he's improved his game, but yeah, it's dog pass, man. Subhuman Gaucho. I would sooner take Luis Rodriguez, but not a fight I'm really keen on. Yeah, it's needing profit this week. It doesn't feel like someone I want to play. Eremiah Sandbeck. BigSteve, I'm BJ Penn in the Discord. You know your fan as well. Yeah, I just remember new names to comment. It's good to have you, mate. You're a sharp fellow. I actually used to think you were the real BJ Penn, the way you were talking for a minute. The French notoriously give up Puel's 50-unit max bet, high-level analysis. Yeah, you can't go wrong there, mate. Puele sub round 2, 1 and 2. Yeah, possibly. I think you got to play by the sub, but he will sell out for the sub for full 3 rounds. Alrighty. Now it sucks that I'm just passing on all these fights, but what can I do? I mean, look at these matchups, guys. Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. So I didn't retape this fight. This fight's been made like 5 times. The first time I took Edgar Chairez sub, and my breakdown was no way I'm laying the under 1.5 at juice just because Edgar Chairez is durable. It reminded me of the CJ Vergara Lacerda fight where CJ doesn't really have the power to finish Lacerda under, and he's too durable for Lacerda to finish him under. That fight went over, almost went into round 3. So I feel like this is the same dynamic. Edgar's more of a calf kicker. If all his sub finishes are mostly by sub, so instead of playing the under, instead of playing KO or anything like that, or under 2.5, I just play Edgar sub. So that's probably what I'll play here again. And yeah, I don't understand the donations on Lacerda. He might look good, but a couple of calf kicks in, he's going to hate it, and he's just going to dive into sub again. So no big breakdown here. Jesus Aguilar, Mateus Mandoka. I have a bit of a regret on passing on Jesus Aguilar when he was plus 140. That seems to be the top of the line. I've rode with this guy against Erison Ferreira on Contender Series as a decent-sized dog. I don't know why I didn't play him against Shannon Ross. I love the guy. I think I played the under there, which was easy. But yeah, he's got a lot of holes in his game. He's extremely aggressive, and his wrestling's not the best, but he will sell out for it, and he will pull people on top of him. He will put himself in subs all the time. He's got that crazy heart and confidence. But obviously against Tyra, we saw that that's not always going to work. He went for a guillotine against someone like Tyra, and then, this time he put himself in a sub and he was submitted. Obviously there's levels, but, he's got a sub, and his first loss was a sub. And then as I was taping him for Tyra, I saw another fight where a really low-level guy had him in a tight rear naked choke. And I put on my Twitter, I said, would Tatsuro Tyra finish this? Turns out he would. He fought Edgar Chairez, who we just spoke about on the regionals, and he was in a deep triangle there. But yeah, he's not going to tap early, and he won't be hard to finish. So it just comes down to, Mateus Mandoka. A lot of people are crapping on him, obviously for his result against Nate Maness, and that was a brain fart and a half. But I thought he held his own against Javid. He was overly aggressive and played that shooter box style and gave up a lot of positions. But that's never going to work against someone like Javid, who's extremely technical. But against Aguilar, who gets hit, he gets taken down. I think Mandoka is going to have some success. At flyweight against Nate Maness, he instantly got a takedown. Locked his hands around Nate Maness's hips, and Maness is notoriously hard to take down, especially against the cage. I think he took Javid down once or twice early. So the way Aguilar's defense is, I I feel like I would rather live bet him because he lost the first round to Erison Ferreira as well. He pulled him on top of him in mount, right? And Mendoka, he's a decent jiu-jitsu guy. So the reason I passed is because of that. I feel like he's going to be losing up until he breaks Mendoka with the cardio and the pressure. Mendoka is hittable, and especially at flyweight. I don't know what he's doing at flyweight. I feel that's maybe not a good move. I played the under in the last fight against Menez because of the whole flyweight dynamic. I don't know how that would have finished if it wasn't for the ground and pound. But yeah, at those prices, it was Jesus Aguilar or pass. But I passed because I was waiting for live bets, and now the line is gone. Even when he gets his guillotine, it usually comes later. Round 3, round 2, round 5. Right, it's when he breaks people when they gas out, and then they dive into his guillotine. But yeah, he's also got underrated power. I'm not just saying that because of the Shannon Ross fight. He's cracked some people. So dog will pass now, but the line is completely came in. Yeah, not much interest. Let me just sip my coffee, read the comments. Eremias, well, thank you. I'm here because it's a fucking Shark Tank in there, and you're doing really well. Thank you, mate. All the homies shit on, yeah. Jesus season plus 130, nice, mate. 140 was better, but Jesus saves. Yeah, it's a popular play. I get it. He's got the heart, he's got the durability, he's got the cardio over Mendoka, but yeah, it's his skill. All right, Christian Quinones, Raoni Barcelos. I'm not really interested in this fight. Should be a levels fight for Raoni, but he just seems more and more, dropping his level and becoming more washed. Just getting hurt in, a lot of fights. Probably should have beat Timur Valiev. Victor Henry, Trevin Jones. Yeah, he beat him, but probably should have finished him. Umar knocked him out cold, which whatever. Kyler Phillips was a tough matchup. With how low volume he can be and how high volume Phillips can be. And he dropped him with a 1-2. Christian Canones, I don't think he's anything special, but I think he's better than I thought he was. Yeah, I mean, he's got a nice 1-2. His boxing is decent. He's gonna be there for 3 rounds unless you finish him. Yeah, I got no interest. If anything is accurate, I think Raoni should be the favorite. I played the under at plus money here, and then I cashed out. Obviously coming off a big loss, I always become extremely selective with my bets. So I felt like Raoni, he hurts everyone, and Canones has been finished in all his losses, particularly by sub. And I do have issues about his chin. He was even hurt by this Long Zhao on Contender Series a couple of times, and that guy's a decision machine. So yeah, I played it because someone tipped it out to me, and I thought, you know what, I get it. This should probably be slightly favorite with the way, Raoni hurts everyone. Valiev, Victor Henry hurt him. Trevin Jones, Umar put him out cold. Phillips hurt him. He almost killed Taha. So it's like, surely he finishes a step down like Quinones, but he should have finished Trevin Jones, He should have finished Valiev. So it felt like he was going to be a tilting under where they just hurt each other, or Barcelos gets back control and doesn't finish him off. So I ended up cashing out, and now the line is steamed. It's probably accurate at this current price, but yeah, I got no interest. Now that I'm thinking about it, 3 days later, he probably does cash. I do think Quinones has durability issues, and he probably has grappling issues too, because a lot of his losses are via sub. Actually, 2 are, my bad. 2 KOs, 2 subs. I think he has durability issues for sure. Maybe how many sub would be the play? We'll see what the price is. Mountain bets. Betting on MMA is pretty gay when you consider the amount of time spending thinking about 2 grown men in tights, deciding who can dominate the other. What about if you dream about it at night? Does that make you even more gay? Food for thought. Unless you sleep with a female in your bed. I think that's pretty straight then. Quinones finish only plus 140. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a volatile fight where either one can finish. How only sub plus 500? Not bad. Generally tends to be a donation, but maybe I jump on just to feel better about cashing out this plus money under. Let's go if you dream about it. Thank you. Because you can't control your dreams, right? I have dreams about betting on MMA, even go. Well, that's what I just said. Alrighty. Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan. So finally up to a fight that I have a bet on. I have a full unit on Manuel Torres at $1.80, 10 cents away from Pick'em. I get it. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions about his cardio outside of round one. There's a lot of questions about his ground game. You tend to agree that, mostly tend to agree that if he gets into 2 and 3, Chris Duncan has his best chance. And, the goal is to potentially live bet out and actually do it this time instead of, unlike last week, with Fluffy. But yeah, I mean, I just couldn't. At that price, from everything I've seen on tape, I think Torres is levels above in the striking. He can fight backwards. He switches stances. He has a teep kick up the middle. When Frank Camacho pressured him, he pulled counter, landed a beautiful left right. When Nicholas Mota cracked him bad on the chin, right, and Mota cracks, we've seen other people not be able to handle that 1-2. He switched stances and didn't throw anything until he timed the beautiful elbow. So that to me shows adjustments. The speed is massive. The durability edge is massive. Like we just seen him eat a bomb from Mota right on a button. Meanwhile, Chris Duncan, getting knocked out by Borsche by same kind of hook, left hook to the chin. Almost getting knocked out by Charlie Campbell. Right, gets wobbled by Morales. Even gets cracked by Ashmoose by an overhand right early. So this guy's, he's way too hittable. He's slow. He's plotting. He's not as bad as people think. His style is decent. He'll keep coming forward and pressure, and that's going to work on a lot of people. He's big and he's physical. But yeah, I just feel like from what I've seen on tape and all the advantages Torres has early, he even shows good takedown defense against the cage in the clinch. But I think Duncan can, level change under low and probably dump him on his butt. But, I'm hoping and I'm assuming there's going to be one or two get ups from Torres, right? I don't think he's just going to get taken down. I get this feeling that he's someone that's going to put the hand down and push the head and look to get up straight away. So yeah, at $1.80, I cap Torres at at least 60% with the questions, and yeah, he's got massive favorite upside if this fight ends. But even when fights go long, right, with Chris Duncan, I just don't think he's that much of a UFC level. Like he went long with Omar Morales, who the guy's been cut since. He can be extremely low volume, and I love Omar Morales. Couldn't separate, went to a split. And then Yashmouz, right? Yashmouz remains to be seen how good Yashmouz is, but a lot of people don't rate him. Where Yashmouz broke his arm in round one, he was tiny. He still went to a decision with him. And he just stayed on the outside throwing head kicks at him. He's not going to be able to do that to Torres. So it's just Duncan's, decision path is just slim. So I'm hoping, and his cardio is not that great either. He's always blowing in the first round. So now we're in Mexico. Yes, Torres probably does look tired if he gets out of round one. And a lot of people are referencing the Camacho fight, but he was throwing a lot of heat, a lot of significant strikes in that fight. So, yeah, I think there's a weird scenario where Torres still wins a decision, but I'm banking on round one KO, and he's got massive favorite upside. All right, let's move on. Yasmin Yaragui, Sam Hughes. I mean, I don't really have an interest in fading Yaragui at this price. Sam Hughes is bottom of the barrel. She usually breaks like these girls with bad grappling later on in rounds with her cardio. She really should have beat Piera Rodriguez. I was on her there. I was on her against Elise Reed, one of my favorite bets. Yeah, she just doesn't like getting hit. Loma just schooled her. Yeah, she quit to Tisha Torres. She could have beat Luana Pinero after she gassed, and she kind of just flaked because she was scared from the power punching. Yeah, I mean, Yasmin has her issues. She's hittable, extremely hittable. To this day, I still regret not betting Denise Gomez. I liked it, and then I told my friend, and my friend said, "No, I don't like it," and I passed. So that usually happens when I'm not certain in my reads. But yeah, if anything, I'll live bet Sam. I need to see Yasmin slow down because Sam usually loses early. All right. Rosas Jr., Ricky Tercios. Yeah, again another one where I'm not interested in Tercios pre-fight. His takedown defense is so bad. I think he's just going to get taken down early, and then after that, it's what does Rosas do? Is he super aggressive? Does he not? Um, does he not control his cardio? Did he not learn his lesson? Yeah, I see a lot of money's coming on Tercios. I can't bet on a guy that he goes to split decisions with Brady Hiestand and Kevin Natividad, bottom of the barrel dudes. Brady slows down massively in rounds 2 and 3, and he should be able to separate, but he doesn't seem like a guy that can stop a takedown. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things I like here, but I'll be honest, I need to do more tape on this fight. But yeah, there's no way I can play Tercios pre-flop. If anything, maybe I play Royval at this price. Who knows? Probably not. Daniel Zellhuber, Francisco Prado. Yeah, I know someone that went big on Zellhuber at an earlier price. It's fair enough. It does seem special. It's just I don't like how slow he starts his fights and how hittable he is early, or in the Lando Venata case, late. He started off well and then he just kind of let Venata back into the fight. Christos Giago's fight, I do think he has an iron chin. He was eating shots from Almeida and Giago's, but I don't remember Giago's actually wobbling him. I thought he just ate it. But then upon rewatch, he ate a left hook behind the ear and then a right hook behind the ear. So the fact that he stayed on his feet is still impressive. I think Giago's does. When Giago's is fresh, I think he's a lot more athletic and throws down a lot harder than, Prado. Prado's cool. I like this regional tape. I bet the under against Ottoman Azaita. Azaita's a bit chinny though, and it still took him 4 minutes to get him out of there. And he was, spinning elbow. I don't like his striking much. I don't like, throwing that telegraphed spinning elbow and loading up and things like that. Like, surely Zellhuber can avoid that. Zellhuber is just a bit more of a complete game. The kicks. He's got good takedown defense. If he can avoid, those telegraph shots, surely he just wins a decision here. But yeah, maybe I put him in a parlay or something. We'll see if I'm feeling like I have to force some bets because I don't really have much on this card. But yeah, I think Prado's path is round 1, honestly. If he can time something on Zellhuber while he's taking his time to warm up into the fight. Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. Yeah, the first time these guys fought, I completely passed on the fight. It was a crap show. Ortega was a favorite. I didn't like how hittable he is, and coming off a massive beating to Alexander Volkanovski, and I just thought he was going to be eating a lot of punishment from Yair, and I just said I would just rather live bet him, when he gets through the brutal stuff. And yeah, the way that fight went, I felt like it was a good pass, just a random shoulder injury. And I feel the same way about it now. Now Brian's coming off a massive layoff from that shoulder injury, and yeah, more than a year. And I don't know. Obviously he was recovering. He's still not that old, 33. I just don't know what to make of him. It's dog or pass again. Yeah, he's probably going to light him up again. But Ortega did take him down. Yeah, I don't know. But both these guys they both have defensive issues. Yair has massive takedown defense issues. He doesn't mind being on his back. He's never improved it. He's one of those guys that worked on his guard instead. But is he going to submit Ortega? I mean, he went for an armbar. Ortega pulled it out straight away, hurt his shoulder. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a dog or pass. Maybe poke some Ortega sub. What are the overs? What are the unders? The overs are juiced. And then when you get to 3.5, the unders are kind of juiced as well. I don't know. It's one of those cards. It's one of those fights. Let's move on. And the main event, we have Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. The battle of the Brandons. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I think this is another levels fight, just like the Pantoja. I think Royval is a serviceable fighter, but when he gets up to the championship caliber fighters like Pantoja, Moreno, and maybe someone else, we'll see. he's just drawing dead, the defense, the takedown defense. He doesn't have much power either. Yeah, that Pantoja fight, man. Pantoja was gassed, and in rounds 4 and 5, he needs a finish, and he's just touching him. It's like put some pep behind your shots, man. You need to finish here, and then he gets taken down. He got taken down like a million times in that fight. I feel like the same thing will happen here. I think, Moreno, he might look to give up some minutes on the feet, but the takedown will be there whenever he feels like it. I think his jiu-jitsu is good enough to survive. In fact, I'm pretty confident in that. I think he has a lot more power. I think he can drop and hurt Royval. His hands are nice. Yeah, feels like a levels fight. I wouldn't mind parlaying Moreno in a square parlay with someone, maybe Zellhuber, maybe even Yasmin. I don't know. There's a few fights I have to tape in deeper, but I don't know if it's worth it because regionals really seem to have the better spots this week. Alrighty. I'll finish up, read the comments, and get out of here. About mountain beds. Can we just relegate Chris Duncan as another idiot with an accent? I guess we can, mate. There's a lot of idiots in the UFC who can't fight with accents. Could see Duncan staying outside the distance, leg kicking, mixing takedowns. Don't see him engaging round 1. Look, they both have issues with checking calf kicks, and Torres throws a much harder calf kick than Duncan. And also Torres throws a teep kick to the face. He fights much better long, so I don't know if Duncan can stay on the outside and stay safe. How does Ortega not get dog walked again? He didn't really get dog walked in the first fight, but he can just go for takedowns because that's a big hole in Yair's game. About to get JP biased. He would have to be extremely chinny for that to happen, but who knows? Only one bet this card. That's correct, Mofo. Unfortunately, I wanted more, but we'll see. The night is young. Yaya sleeps on banana peel, gets subbed. Pretty much how I see it. All right, what do we got? Naimov, Silva, Dogo Pass. Santos, Altamirano, Dogo Pass. Maybe some Santos decision. Bonda, Rodriguez, Bonda, Pass. ZM, maybe Pule, sub. I don't know. Maybe the under here with 2 guys gassing. That's potential. Chares, Saba pass. Aguilar pass, but yeah, the line's kind of going now. I looked a live bet. Barcelos, Quinones, just a pass in general. Torres, I played. Line's gone now, unfortunately. Yarigi, can't really play Sam Hughes. Tercius, Rosas, live bet Tercius, I guess. Prado, Zellhuber. Maybe Zellhuber in some parlays. Yeah, Ortega, Dogo Pass, and Moreno in some parlays. So that's it. It's a rough card for betting, but I think we're going to get some mad scraps. Yeah, at the moment, 5,000 for the year, all from January pretty much because I gave away my profits last week. I do have Braga on PFL. At first, I thought it was a level fight for Pitbull, levels fight. But Braga, he's coming off these dudes that have a ton of volume, Pinedo twice and Ward twice. And now he's getting a potentially a slow-paced striking fight with Pitbull. Surely he can have a competitive fight where plus 140 is value. That's improved now, actually. So I got reverse seal lead for some reason. And I have Avalos on A1 Combat. I mean, he was a plus 140 underdog. Now it's Pick'em. He should beat this Figueiredo dude. Figueroa. And that's about it. I'm going to do some PFL. I'm going to look at some LFA. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Sherdog. I'll post all the bets there. And yeah, like and subscribe. Good luck on your bets. And let's finish February with a good profit.